Ladies and gentlemen, time is the greatest currency we have. The clock doesn't stop. You can't save it, you can't borrow it, you can't get a refund on it. And here's the truth. If you waste time, you waste life. But if you invest time, you start winning. Let me give you 6 ways to stop wasting time and start winning. Time is the most democratic resource in the world. Whether you are a billionaire or broke, whether you live in a mansion or a studio apartment, each of us wakes up with the exact same 24 hours. The difference is never the supply of time. It's the value we assign to it. If you treat your hours as priceless, they will pay you back in growth, achievement, and opportunities. But if you treat them as cheap, you'll watch them slip away with nothing to show for them. Think about this. Money lost can be earned back. Energy spent can be renewed with rest. But an hour wasted, that's gone forever. It will never return. And yet, isn't it strange how easy it is to give time away? People guard their wallets tighter than they guard their calendars. Someone asks for a few dollars, and we hesitate. But someone asks for a few hours, and we give it away like it has no cost. The truth is, a dollar is replaceable. An hour is not. Winners learn early that the value of a day cannot be measured only in hours, but in outcomes. You don't get paid for time, you get paid for value. The marketplace rewards productivity, not presence. You can sit at a desk for 8 hours, or you can build something meaningful in 2. The question is not, how much time did I spend? But rather, what did I produce with the time I had? If you want to stop wasting time and start winning, the first step is to recognize that every day is a treasure. Imagine if you woke up every morning, and in your bank account appeared no 86,400. You could spend it any way you want, but at the end of the day, whatever you didn't use would vanish. No refunds, no carryovers. What would you do? You'd probably spend wisely. You'd invest. You'd buy things that matter. You'd avoid foolish waste. Now here's the revelation. Every single morning, life deposits 86,400 seconds into your account. And just like money, whatever you don't use for something meaningful disappears. The difference is with money, you can hope to earn it back. With time, once it's gone, it's gone. The tragedy is that too many people live as though time is infinite. They spend their best hours on trivial pursuits, their best energy on meaningless conversations, their best days on activities that build no future. Then they wonder why their dreams seem far away. Winning begins with a shift in perspective. You must treat the hours like gold. Guard them. Spend them with intention. Start by examining your mornings. The way you begin your day determines how the rest of it will go. If you trade your mornings for social media, gossip, or meaningless distractions, you lose momentum before the day even begins. But if you invest those same hours in reading, planning, exercise, or creative work, you set yourself on a path to victory. The difference between a wasted life and a winning life is often found in those early hours. And don't just value mornings. Value evenings too. How many nights are lost to mindless entertainment? There's nothing wrong with rest or enjoyment, but when hours meant for building are sacrificed at the altar of amusement, progress slows. Winners understand balance, but they never confuse relaxation with waste. Every hour must serve a purpose, either renewal, growth, or achievement. When you truly value your hours, your decision-making sharpens. You stop saying, I don't have time, because you realize the truth, you do have time, but you've been spending it poorly. Time is not lost, it is invested. And your life today is the harvest of the hours you invested yesterday. So, begin to look at every hour as a seed. Plant it well. Plant it with intention. Use it to learn, to build, to strengthen relationships, to advance your vision. Waste it, and you'll reap regret. Invest it, and you'll reap reward. The value of your life will always mirror the value you place on your hours. If you want to start winning, the first step is simple. Treat your time like it's priceless, because it is. Most people don't lose the race of life because they tripped over a giant obstacle. They lose because of the little things, the small habits, the subtle distractions, the daily moments of carelessness that add up over time. It's rarely the big storms that sink the ship. More often, it's the tiny leaks left unattended. That's why if you want to stop wasting time and start winning, You must learn the discipline of cutting out the trivial. The trivial is seductive. It doesn't look harmful in the moment. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. A quick scroll, a casual chat, a little detour. By itself, it seems harmless, but add it up over days, weeks, and years, and it steals a lifetime. The tragedy is that most people don't realize they've given away their future in small pieces until it's too late. Think of it like this. If a thief came and stole 8 hours from your day, you'd be outraged. You'd fight to get it back. But when trivial distractions steal those same 8 hours in little fragments, we hardly notice. We trade gold for pennies, not because we're foolish, but because we fail to measure the true cost of the trivial. The question you must start asking yourself is simple. Does this matter? Not, does this entertain me? Not, does this fill the time? But, does this move me toward who I want to become? Every activity has a price. Every conversation has a cost. Every habit either builds you or bleeds you. The trivial takes much and gives little. The meaningful takes little and gives much. The key is to learn the difference. Look at the habits of highly successful people, and you'll notice something: they are ruthless with their focus. They trim away the non-essential. They don't let the small things dominate the schedule. It's not that they don't have distractions. Everyone does. But they refuse to let distractions take the driver's seat. Consider the hours spent on meaningless entertainment. A TV show here, a video there, an endless scroll through someone else's highlight reel. None of these things are wrong in moderation. Relaxation has its place. But when the trivial becomes the default, when it consumes hours that could have been invested in growth, learning, or building, it becomes costly. The difference between a wasted life and a winning life often lies in those small exchanges. Cutting out the trivial doesn't mean becoming joyless or rigid. It means making space for what matters most. For example, when you eliminate 2 hours of distraction each day, you create 2 hours for reading, for exercising, for building a skill, for deepening a relationship. Over a year, that's 37 hours, the equivalent of nearly a full month of life. Imagine what you could accomplish in a month if it was dedicated entirely to something meaningful. Now imagine having that gift every single year. That is the power of cutting out the trivial. It also means being intentional about the company you keep. Some conversations are valuable. They sharpen your mind, encourage your spirit, and inspire your vision. Others are trivial. Gossip, complaints, negativity, endless talk about nothing. If you let the wrong voices fill your ears, you waste the most precious commodity you have: attention. Be kind, but be selective. Not every voice deserves a seat at your table. Remember, time is a garden. Every hour is a seed. If you plant weeds, you won't harvest fruit. The trivial is like weeds. It grows fast, it spreads wide, and it chokes out the valuable. To win, you must pull the weeds. You must guard the soil of your life. Every moment you reclaim from the trivial is a moment you can invest in purpose. So, ask yourself each day, what can I trim? What can I let go? What is stealing my hours without giving me a return? When you find the answer, cut it out. Not someday, not later, but today. Because life is not lost in years. It is lost in minutes. And if you cut out the trivial, you'll find the minutes are enough to build a future worth celebrating. One of the greatest secrets of winning with time is also one of the simplest. Write things down. The human mind is powerful, but it is not reliable as a storage system. Memory is fragile, easily distracted, easily confused. But the moment you put a thought on paper, it becomes solid, clear, and actionable. That's why people who consistently achieve more are not always smarter or faster. They are simply more disciplined in organizing their days with lists. A list does more than remind you what to do. It sharpens your focus. Without a list, your day is at the mercy of interruptions. Whoever shouts the loudest gets your attention. But with a list, you take control. You choose in advance what deserves your energy. You dictate the agenda instead of letting circumstances do it for you. Think of a list as a map. If you begin a journey without a map, you wander. You may stumble into progress, but you waste time on detours. With a map, every step has direction. In the same way, a written list turns your day into a guided path. It answers the question, What must I do today to move closer to my goals? Here's the real power of lists. They force decisions. When you write tasks down, you confront reality. You see in black and white what's important, and you see just as clearly what is not. It's no longer vague. It's right there on the page. And once it's written, you can no longer hide behind excuses. A list holds you accountable. But not all lists are equal. A good list is more than a pile of random tasks. A good list is prioritized. Not everything you write down deserves the same weight. Some tasks matter more, some matter less. Winners learn to rank their lists. They identify the 1 or 2 activities that create the biggest results and tackle those first. If you complete just a few high-value tasks every day, you'll achieve more than someone who checked off 100 trivial ones. And don't underestimate the emotional power of a list. There's something deeply satisfying about checking off a task. That small act releases momentum. It tells your mind, I'm making progress. Each check mark is a little victory, and little victories build confidence for bigger battles. A day full of small wins adds up to a week of progress, a month of results, a year of achievement. Some people say, I don't need a list, I just keep it in my head. But those are often the same people who feel overwhelmed, scattered, or perpetually behind. Why carry the weight of memory when a piece of paper can carry it for you? Writing things down frees your mind to focus on doing, not just remembering. It declutters the mental desk. And a clear mind works faster and better than a cluttered one. Here's another benefit: lists reveal patterns. At the end of a week, you can look back and see where your time went. You can ask yourself, did I spend my hours on meaningful work, or did I fill my list with busy work? This kind of reflection is powerful. It helps you adjust, refine, and improve. Without a list, it's easy to lose track of what really happened. With a list, you have a record. And that record tells the truth. The most successful people you'll ever meet don't rely on chance. They rely on discipline. And one of the simplest disciplines is mastering the power of lists. Every morning, write down what matters. Every evening, review what you did. Over time, this small habit builds a structure that carries you toward your goals. So here's the challenge. Don't let tomorrow arrive without a list. Sit down tonight and write it out. Big things, small things, urgent things, important things. Then order them. Decide what gets your prime energy. And when the day comes, work the list. Not half-heartedly, not casually, but with determination. Cross off each item. Celebrate the progress. And remember, the difference between a dreamer and a doer is often just a piece of paper and the discipline to follow it. If you can master the simple art of lists, you will master your time. And if you master your time, you will master your life. One of the greatest reasons people waste time is because they cannot say a simple word, no. They don't say it because they're afraid of disappointing others, afraid of being misunderstood, or afraid of missing out. But here's the truth. Yes is also a no. When you say yes to one thing, you automatically say no to something else. And too often, people are saying yes to the trivial and unintentionally saying no to their own future. Think about your daily life. How many times have you agreed to commitments you didn't want, conversations that drained you, or tasks that didn't align with your goals? You said yes to someone else's agenda, and in doing so, you said no to your own. That is the silent thief of time. The calendar fills up, the day slips away, and you wonder why you feel tired but not fulfilled. It's not because you lack time. It's because you lack the courage to say no. Saying no is not about being harsh or unkind. It's about being wise. It's about protecting the limited resource of your attention. If your time is precious, and it is, then you must guard it like treasure. A vault full of gold has a lock for a reason. The hours of your life deserve the same protection. Without boundaries, you become available to everyone, but useful to no one. Here's the irony: when you say yes to everything, you end up disappointing people anyway. You overcommit, you stretch yourself thin, and you deliver half-heartedly. But when you are selective, when your yes is rare and thoughtful, people can count on you. Your yes is weight. It means something. And your no, though it may sting for a moment, earns respect in the long run. The art of saying no also creates space for the big yes. The yes to your dreams, your growth, your purpose. Imagine if your schedule was free of obligations that drain you. Imagine if your time was filled only with things that build you. That's not selfishness. That's stewardship. That's choosing to live your life instead of letting others live it for you. Of course, saying no takes practice. At first, it feels uncomfortable. You may fear you'll hurt someone's feelings or lose an opportunity. But every no you speak in defense of your time is really a yes to something greater. Say no to gossip, and you say yes to clarity. Say no to distractions, and you say yes to focus. Say no to obligations that don't serve your purpose, and you say yes to a life that does. A useful habit is this: before agreeing to anything, pause and ask yourself, does this align with where I want to go? If it does, consider it carefully. If it doesn't, say no quickly and firmly. Don't apologize excessively. Don't over-explain. A simple no is enough. You don't need to justify your right to protect your time. And here's the good news: when you learn to say no, you begin to attract the right opportunities. Why? Because your schedule has space for them. People who never say no have no room for the great, because their time is cluttered with the mediocre. But when you free yourself from the non-essential, you're ready when the essential appears. Life is not a matter of how much you can cram into your calendar. It's about how well you use the limited time you've been given. And the truth is, you cannot do everything. The question is not whether you will say no, but what you will say no to. The winners are those who choose wisely. So practice the art of saying no. Do it with kindness, but do it with conviction. Protect your hours, guard your attention, defend your purpose. Because when you learn to say no to what doesn't matter, you finally have the freedom to say yes to what does. And that is when you stop wasting time and start winning. Every single one of us spends portions of life waiting. We wait in lines at the store, in traffic on the road, in offices for appointments, and even in seasons of life where the next opportunity hasn't yet arrived. Most people see waiting as wasted time. They groan, complain, and let frustration eat up their energy. But winners think differently. Winners know that waiting is not empty time. It can be converted into preparation. If you learn the art of turning waiting into winning, you'll discover that those pockets of time most people waste can become some of your most valuable hours. Consider the average commute. Some people spend an hour a day driving to and from work. Multiply that by 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, and you're looking at 250 hours, more than 6 full work weeks, spent just sitting behind the wheel. For some, that time is lost to impatience, loud music, or daydreaming. For others, it becomes a classroom. They listen to audiobooks, take in podcasts, rehearse ideas, or practice speeches. Same commute, different mindset. One person loses time, the other multiplies it. The same principle applies in the smaller moments. 10 minutes in line at the bank can be wasted scrolling through meaningless posts, or it can be invested reviewing notes, reading a page from a book, or making a quick call you've been postponing. 15 minutes in a waiting room can be wasted staring at the wall, or it can be spent writing down goals, planning tomorrow, or simply thinking about solutions to a problem. The moment doesn't change. You do. The truth is, waiting is not optional. If it is built into the structure of life. But wasting is optional. That is the choice. Most people let waiting make them weaker. They grow impatient, irritated, distracted. But winners let waiting make them stronger. They turn the idle into the useful, the pause into progress. They don't just wait, they prepare. And it's not only about small pockets of waiting. Sometimes life places us in longer seasons of waiting. You may be waiting for the right job, the right opportunity, the right partner, and the right breakthrough. Many people waste these seasons by doing nothing but wishing. They sit still, complaining about how long it's taking. But winners use those seasons to sharpen their skills, deepen their knowledge, and strengthen their character. That way, when the door finally opens, they're ready to walk through it. Think of an athlete on the bench. He may not be on the field right now, but if he spends his waiting time wisely, stretching, watching the game, preparing his mind, when the coach calls his name, he's ready. The tragedy is that too many people are called into opportunity, but can't perform because they wasted the waiting. They had the time, but they didn't use it. The secret is to develop the habit of asking, how can I turn this waiting into winning? If you're in traffic, maybe it's time to learn a new language with an audio course. If you're in an airport, maybe it's time to write, brainstorm, or plan your week. If you're waiting for your chance in life, maybe it's time to practice, learn, and prepare so that when the chance comes, you're not just available. You're excellent. Waiting is not punishment. It's an opportunity disguised as delay. The question is whether you'll treat it as wasted time or invested time. And the difference between those two choices can shape your entire future. So the next time you find yourself waiting, don't groan. Don't waste it. Ask yourself, what can I do right now to grow? Even if it's small, even if it's just a page read or a thought written down. That's progress. And progress, no matter how small, is never wasted. Winners know this truth: time never stops moving, even when life seems to pause. If you learn to turn waiting into winning, you'll never lose a moment. You'll find that even delays can drive you forward. And when others complain about wasted time, you'll already be miles ahead. If you treated time the way you treat money, your life would change overnight. Think about it: very few people would take their paycheck, crumple it up, and toss it in the trash. Most people budget carefully, spend wisely, save diligently, and try to invest in things that bring a return. Yet when it comes to time, the most valuable resource we will ever own, people spend it carelessly. They give it away without thought. They invest it in things that produce no growth. They waste it on activities that drain rather than multiply. If you want to start winning in life, you must begin treating time as you would money, something to invest with wisdom and intention. Here's the truth: time is the only currency where every person receives the same amount each day. Rich or poor, educated or uneducated, powerful or powerless, we all wake up with 24 hours. The difference is not how much time we have, but how we invest it. Some spend it on distractions and entertainment. Others invest it in learning, building, and creating. And the returns couldn't be more different. Imagine two people, both given the same 10,000 hours over several years. One invests in television gossip and mindless activity. The other invests in reading, developing skills, building relationships, and working on goals. When those years are over, one will look back with regret, wondering where the time went. The other will look back with pride, standing on the foundation of a future built by hours invested wisely. The same time, different choices, completely different results. Investing time is not about being busy. Busy people often confuse activity with progress. You can run in circles all day and still be in the same place by nightfall. Investment is about using time in a way that multiplies. For example, an hour spent exercising pays back in health, energy, and confidence. An hour spent reading can provide ideas and insights that change your future. An hour spent nurturing a relationship can build trust and love that lasts a lifetime. These are investments with compounding returns. Compounding is the magic of time investment. Just like money grows when invested wisely, so does time. 10 minutes of reading every day may not feel like much, but in a year, that's over 60 hours of knowledge gained. 30 minutes of practice a day may feel small, but in a year, you've trained for more than 180 hours. These little deposits, consistently made, create extraordinary results. Winners understand this and live by it. Losers ignore it and wonder why others get ahead. Another key is opportunity cost. Every hour spent on one thing is an hour not spent on something else. Just as a wise investor asks, what's the best place for my money right now? You must ask, what's the best place for my time right now? Not all activities are equal. Some give you nothing. Some give you a little. Some give you a lot. The key is to put more hours into the things that give you the highest return. And don't forget, wasted time is not just lost in the present. It steals from your future. If you waste years, you cannot buy them back. But if you invest years, they will pay you dividends long after the work is done. That's why winners look at time not as something to spend, but as something to plant. Every hour is a seed. Plant it in the right soil, and it will grow into something bigger than itself. So ask yourself, if time were money, would you invest the way you currently spend? Would you be bankrupt, or would you be wealthy? Would your daily deposits build a fortune of skills, wisdom, and relationships, or would they leave you with nothing but regrets? The answer to those questions will tell you everything about your future. Remember, time and money are similar in one critical way. Both can be invested, but only one can never be replaced. You can always earn more money, but you can never earn more time. That makes time infinitely more valuable. Use it well. Invest it wisely. Treat it as the treasure it is. Because the way you invest your hours today will determine the quality of your life tomorrow. And if you make every hour count, you won't just stop wasting time. You'll start winning in the richest way possible.